All right, we're live. Okay, we're live. Hold on one second, okay? Let me just play some music. Tell Wanda I hear her. No, that's not what I'm looking for. BJ, can you see the comment?
Nosy.
My Destiny said, "What's up, Rico?"
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Hopefully, my internet acts like it got good sense today.
Uh,
We're gonna give it a few more minutes, okay? Then we're gonna start.
all right. Uh,
Can you hear that rain?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Probably not that clear to the listeners, but I just gotta play something to center myself. Good
Yeah.
morning, everybody. So far, that's joining in. Put your hellos and good mornings in the comment section. Yeah, that's rain in the background, but it's on my phone, Destiny. Let's see. Add a little light. Hi, Ashley. Ashley says, hey. I don't know if you can see the comments, but I'll let you know. Can you see them if I do this?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I see the
You can
comments
see
now.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that, okay, so you can see them. Greetings, sis.
Hey, what's up, Ashley?
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We got a few eyes.
Hmm.
Good morning, beautiful people. It's your girl Bev. It is Saturday, January the 22nd. Can you believe it already of 2022? We're already soaring through the first month of the new year. Glad to be alive. I've had COVID twice, like I was saying last week. Thank God I'm still here, almost in a car accident at the end of the year of last year. Um, Took me about 21 hours to get from Philadelphia to North Carolina due to a tractor trailer stopping traffic. Been working from home, and I'm just grateful to just be alive, honestly. And it's 9 days from my birthday, God willing. So it's just so many wonderful things that's going on so far in my life, and I thank God for it. It's really truly a beautiful day. It snowed over the night. And so I'm looking outside and I see nothing but white on the ground. So it's so beautiful out there in North Carolina. But today I have a very special guest. I was going to have three special guests, but my niece said no. And she said maybe in the future. And then my other nephew, he was having a he was having issues with his connection because somebody had hit the power line or something in their neighborhood, and so it knocked out their Wi-Fi. So he wasn't able to join us this morning. But God willing, I will have him on in the future. Um but now I have one special guest today, my nephew Brandon. We call him BJ or BD. I call him BD. Um, and so I just want him to give us a introduction of himself, so you can tell us well, we already know your name because I just said it, and they can see it. But um, tell us your age, what grade you're in, and something fun or interesting about yourself that we don't know. Thanks, Des.
My name is Brandon. I'm 15. Something interesting about me is that I play in the band. I play in high school, and I play trombone. So I'm basically pretty good at playing music. Basically, that's all I'm saying.
Awesome. Thank you, Sister Shalom. She said, Happy birthday in advance. Destiny is like your cheerleader over here. She's like, BJ. Good morning, Brother Trenton. Um, so basically today I wanted to do a show about holiness in high school. Okay,
Mhm.
so I was raised in holiness. And you don't hear about that a lot often, but my family and we have been in the church, raised around the teachings of holiness since I was, born. And so, good morning, Sister Nikia. And just going through those times in school, you're different. You stand out. You dress differently. You behave differently if you value the teachings that you're given. And you have different things about you that other people don't quite understand, and now in today's society, being religious and standing out and dressing differently and speaking differently and striving to do those things that are right is basically almost obsolete. Like, you really don't see it. You don't see it as much, and it's really it'll take a toll on you as an individual, because when I was growing up in school, I didn't value the teachings as much as I should have in school, and I just went ahead and did whatever I felt like I was bad enough and bad enough to do. And you at times you wouldn't even know I was really religious unless you saw me praying over my food at lunch, or unless you heard me telling somebody about them because they saw me wearing my skirts and dresses and wanted to know, why do I wear skirts and dresses all the time, and things like that. So with us being oh, it's not his birthday, sis, but thank you. Greetings. His birthday was in December. Mine is coming up in 9 days. Um, but basically, it's I wanted to shed light upon those that are in high school. In high school, to me, is your biggest threat because elementary school, you're going to be different too, and you really do get ridiculed at elementary school too if you're around this age. But I wasn't in the truth of God when I was your age, BJ. I didn't come into the truth of God until I was 21. So it was different for me. It's like you stand out throughout all your school years, and then when you get to college, people just let you do whatever. It's all right. Greetings, sis. um so I want to know, like, what was it like, because you were in middle school when y'all came into holiness, right? Or were you in elementary? I can't remember. It's been
Well, I said that I was probably. came in like around like early middle school or like maybe like late elementary school. I'm not sure. That I was
Okay.
fully in it. So I guess I say like middle school kind of.
Okay. So what about um so as you begin to grow up with the truth of God teachings and things begin to, you begin when did you start recognizing that, man, like I'm really different from a lot of kids, and not necessarily their behaviors and things like that, but just or their age and things like that, but just basically your beliefs and things like that. Like how when did you really start like paying attention to how different you were?
Well, I said that I was probably feeling that way like maybe like mid middle school year, 6th grade, 7th grade, kind of because of some of the things that like stuff in band and all that stuff, like a teacher saying this type of stuff, and
Saying things towards you about you being different?
yeah, basically
So
that's what.
what was it that they were saying to you? Like what was it in band that made you stand out? Was it songs that they wanted you to play or
Yeah, basically that, and I told him I can't do that. I can't play those stuff because it's against my religious beliefs. And my other teacher, Mr. P, he was, I think he was okay with it because he respect me, but I'm not sure about my other teacher, Miss Montgomery. So I guess like it's
so how do you feel like her reaction was to you not wanting to play? And the songs that you were playing were things that you don't normally listen to, right? Because you normally
right.
listen to what type of music do you normally listen to?
Well, I usually listen to gospel mostly. Yeah,
Right, due
usually,
to
or like
your
classical
religious
music.
belief, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So how do you think your teacher felt about that? The one that seemed like she had an issue with it. How do you think she felt?
I
Or
feel
what
like
or did she say something that let you know she felt some type of way?
no. Well, I felt like she didn't like say it out, but she had body language. Like she explained how she felt with body language, and her talk to my mother about me, playing it. It's probably her like really feeling like kind of like some type of emotion. So it it's kind of hard
Or
to explain, but
did she ever treat you bad, like badly, or make you feel
no, I don't think so. I just think that it was just like kind of like a body language type of thing, like some people just don't express it outwardly, but sometimes they express it by the actions and the body. So that's all I'm saying.
I'm so sorry. That was me. I hit a button on my keyboard. Okay,
Oh
say it again. I'm sorry. Say that again. Go ahead.
no, I was
So
saying
you said
like
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was saying like she didn't like personally disrespect me anything like that. I still respect her as a good teacher. I just say that when it was December around that time or before December, I remember I tell my classmates and they respected me about my religious beliefs, and I told them I can't play this. They didn't. Some of them didn't understand why I couldn't play it, but I told them because of my religious beliefs, I kept it like that. But my teacher, I felt like she didn't express it like she didn't express it vocally, but I feel like she expressed it with her body language, kind of. And so she didn't like really speak about it. So
And I think she probably did that to basically not get in trouble. Because
ba-
like you can't be speaking against somebody's religious beliefs,
right.
because then y'all could have a case against her. Basically, you could sue her if she was to try to discriminate against you for your religious beliefs. And that's what I mean by today's topic, because it's so different. Like you don't hear students saying I can't do this as much unless they're Muslim or things like that. But
Hmm.
to be honest, like we're not Muslim. So it's like to a lot of people, our religion seems like strange to them because it's kind of like, right. And so it was Christmas music, right? Was it Christmas music that you weren't trying to play? Because in
Yeah.
December, that's like the big concert. They want to play Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Jingle Bells and, you know, uh, all
Yeah.
this other stuff that we know we don't listen to and we don't partake in. So we don't
Hmm.
celebrate Christmas. For those of y'all that don't know, we don't celebrate Christmas. And we have our beliefs to back that up. And, the proof. it basically is in the pudding, so to speak, of why we don't celebrate it. But just being different, and denying that. I know when I was in college, and I finally stopped celebrating Christmas for the first time, and I mean not accepting gifts, none of that. Because growing up, we celebrated it, but we didn't decorate for it. Like my mom didn't have like the house lit up with decorations and all that other stuff, but we still had a part in it because I still remember peeking at 3 o'clock in the morning at my gifts. But we came to a point where we done away with Christmas. So one of my friends at the time, they were like, Bev, I have this gift I want to give you. And it takes guts and gusto, as some would say, to say to them, I don't celebrate Christmas. I don't want to accept your gift. Thank you for thinking of me, but I don't celebrate Christmas. And for one of my friends to reply back, but you used to, or you did last year. And for me to have to say, I don't anymore. That was something that I had to challenge myself about because I could have easily just given in just to satisfy that person or that friend at the time. But I chose that my religious beliefs were more important than that friendship. So if they didn't
Mm-hmm.
understand or didn't see where I came from, then that was their personal problem. So you said in your classmates, a lot of them, some of them didn't understand, but they all respected it, correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which is a good thing because when I was in school, I had people taking up for me. Like if someone was to ask me, why do you wear skirts and dresses all the time? Those friends that had been around me for a while be like, it's her religious beliefs. Like, oh my gosh, everybody knows that. And I wouldn't have to say anything because they would beat me to it.
Right.
And I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I don't have to say nothing. They just basically just told them off and I don't have to worry about it, right? So what about that experience? How did that make you feel to actually stand up for what you believe and to say, I can't play this because of my religious beliefs? How did that make you feel? Because you're already sticking out because you're
Mm-hmm.
different. So how did that make you feel as a young individual and as a teenager?
Um, it made me feel like I was good because I know I did the right thing. I know I didn't do the wrong thing, not sticking up for myself. Like I knew that if I did something right, it'd be for God. So that's why try to pride myself into one, stand up for myself and go against that stuff. So I guess that's my answer.
It's okay, yeah. So it made you feel good. And that's a really good thing because it's hard for people to be different. Look at the world we're in. Like if you look on, you don't have access to social media right now, do you?
No, not really. Not really.
Right. I'm pretty sure my sister is not allowing you to do that. But you don't have access to social media, but there are so many things to get caught up in and to the point where you feel like you have to be a part of the crowd.
All right.
So not being a part of the crowd really makes you stick out, but you having that mindset at the age of 15 to be able to say, well, I stood up for what I believed and that made me feel good because I know what I'm doing is for God. That says a lot, because not everybody can do that in today's society. People want to fit in, they don't want to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
What are some other things that you've experienced? Because I know Christmas that's like a huge holiday that everybody and their grandma celebrates. So for us to not celebrate that, that's just like what? And you go to church, that's the first thing people want to say. But you go to church, don't you? Yeah, I do go to church, but we don't celebrate that day.
Mm-hmm.
So what else about, you being in high school and striving to live right, like really sticks out to you? Like how do you feel about just every day going to school and being different? Like what are some things you notice between you and the kids that are different?
Well, well, I can say that when I go to school, I feel like some opinions of students or what they say sometimes about different topics and stuff like that. I guess that'd be something different. I think about like topics of history or science or something like that. As you said.
So you mean like as far as their views on these
Yeah.
topics and how they think, and then you can hear how you think, and you're kind of like, do you think that they think like how do you feel about their thoughts about these different subjects?
I,
Well, how do you feel about it? Because without being judgmental, because we don't ever want to judge anyone for the way they
right.
think, but I want you to think about how you feel. Like, man, like people really think like this. Like, how do you feel about it when you're here when you're listening to them talk?
Well, I do feel like that sometimes. I'm like, why? why is this topic like this? Like why has this topic become this way of feeling that view about this topic? So I mean like it depends on the topic, but I usually feel that way. Why is it like this way? Like why?
So when they're talking about like when they're doing certain behaviors, like,
Right.
and you know what your Brother Trent says, keep can you see it?
Yeah.
Keep hanging in there, BJ. You're doing the right thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So when they're, behaving a certain way in school, what type of student are you? Like when you see other children or well, I wouldn't say children because, other teenagers behaving a certain way, what type of student are you when you're in school? What type of student are you? Because I know your mama because she's my sister. So I know that you got some good solid stuff in you. So it's like, what type of student are you when you're sitting in class and you're seeing all these different behaviors and seeing all these things around you? I mean, do you want to join? Do you want to stop them? How do you feel when everybody's acting however they acting? When they're acting up, should I say?
I usually try to stop them. Sometimes sometimes if certain situation goes to a different place, I usually sometimes sit back. Sometimes I'm like, sometimes I try to help them. Sometimes they don't let me help them. Sometimes situations I just let it sit back. But sometimes I have to stick up sometimes for one of my classmates because other classmates they laugh at another one for some odd reason. I don't know why. So it depends the situation.
Depends.
Kind of like
It depends. Because I get it. Because you basically sound like you're actually doing something that most people don't do, and that's sticking up for other people,
right,
which is a really good sign of good character, by the way. Kudos to you on that, because not everybody can witness someone else being laughed at and not join in on them.
right.
Not everybody can witness that and be like, oh, snap, let me stop them from doing that. Somebody gonna join in and be like, oh my gosh, yeah, you're right, that is funny. Versus you trying to actually stick up for that person. But I get it, you have to be strategic because some people your age would look at it as offensive that you're trying to stick up for somebody else. They may not like that. They may,
Hmm.
get upset about that, and try to come after you. Do you find that people bother you a lot in school? Not that I'm trying to prowl in your business, but do you find that because of your differences or because you are the way you are, which you seem like a very well-rounded gentleman, by the way. And I'm not just saying that because you're my nephew, so don't even do that. But I can say that because he's my nephew, so either way. But you seem well-rounded, so do you find that people bother you? More, or do you feel like that they kind of leave you alone because of the type of person that you are? What do you think happens most?
I think most people leave me alone, kind of because I'm a kind person. Like I'm a very kind person. I wouldn't try to make anybody like upset anything like that, or usually probably that stuff. Like nobody really bothered me like that.
So you're real chill, basically, and you try to keep the peace, and you try to stay out of people's way, or you try to be nice and kind to everyone. Is that what I'm gaining from you? Is that what it normally
Yeah,
happens?
yeah. I try. Yeah, I try to be nice to everybody. Sometimes it's hard because there's one particular student in my classroom.
Talk
It
about it so I can go ahead and you tell me their name after this session so I can go get them. But go ahead.
uh,
Okay, go ahead.
this student. I mean, it depends. It depends on some days if he be nice to me, or sometimes he he puts me in a situation like he's trying to make me stick out. Like it's your fault for doing this stuff, even though it's not even my fault. Like he's that type of dude that we can get along sometimes. Like it's not all the time he be mean to me, but sometimes we be cool. But I can still see like his face expression towards me when he look at me. I can see that. I can see that. He thinks I'm not. I don't know how he thinks, but his facial expression towards me when he talk to me sometimes it's like, yeah, he probably don't like me like that. So, but it depends.
Okay. All right. So how do you, and so you do your best to like maintain positive energy towards them. Is that, hold on one second. I actually says right. I'm taking names and asking questions later. Exactly. See, this is what happens when you get all your aunts on your show on your on your live. me see. Aunt Destiny said, "That's right. I will fly down and roll up on him." Okay, so just so you know, we love Jesus, but we don't play about our family. Okay, and Brother Trenton has to come with the peace and says, "Don't tell her his name, BJ." Well, don't worry. We'll text it to me later. But so basically you try to keep the peace and you try to, approach that with the most positive light, basically. And
Hmm.
like you said, it's not always easy to be nice to people,
Oh,
especially when
definitely.
they treat you like, you know you've done something wrong and you haven't done anything wrong. It's really, really
Hmm.
hard to be nice to people in that aspect. um Tell me about something when you go to school that makes you happy. Tell me about something that when you go to school, Disney says we're gonna find out exactly. Tell me about something that makes you happy when you go to school, and that actually makes you look forward to going to school, even though you're different. What makes you look forward to going to school every day?
Well, I think it's band. If
Hmm.
it depends. I think it's mostly just band because second semester just started, and I think band's probably the best thing for me right now that I look forward to. So,
Okay,
but,
so is there anything that makes you dread going to school? Like, what makes you dread going to school? Like, oh my gosh.
uh, I wouldn't say nothing really at school to make me dread like that. I mean, I just go there and come back home. It just depends. If it's something very very cool in class that I look forward to, but nothing really, really feel
Makes
that
you
way.
dread going to school. So what
Yeah.
about band makes you excited about band? Like, what does music do for you? Because I
Um.
feel like our family is full of like musical like geniuses. Like Tashawn, I wish he was able to be on here today, but like y'all just, I mean, you just have talent, and it's just amazing because we come from that. Like
Right.
that's on both sides of your family. Your dad's side and your mom's side is full of like music, right?
Yeah.
So what does music do for you personally?
I feel like music. What music done for me is like it made me put myself in a good space when I play music. Like if I play like gospel or classical, any other stuff that I usually play, it made me feel like in a good atmosphere when talking about music, kind of. Uh,
Okay.
um, key,
Anything else?
um, I'll say that when I play the trombone, like it made me feel like I'm doing something good when I play the trombone because I know I try to practice every single day and I try to get better. So I guess that's something connects to your question. I guess so. You say. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, that's how music is for me. I could be going through like the most craziest thing, but me simply singing a song
Hmm.
it's a game changer. It puts me in a whole different headspace. And a lot of times somebody will say something to me in words and I'll respond to them in a song.
Hmm.
Like if somebody was like, "Man, like I woke up this morning and I was like just happy to be alive." And I will bust out singing something like, "You ought to wake up with a smile on your face. Hey, you ought to wake up." Like it just puts me in a whole different thing.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's what music does for me. And I think that's what it does for a lot of people because it's an emotional shifter. So basically, you could be feeling sad and then you play a song that makes you happy, or you can be feeling somber and then you play another song and it makes you cry. Things like that. So it really just depends upon what type of day I'm having, what music does for me. It could uplift me, it can make me, real like energetic. If I'm driving and I play a certain type of song, it just gives me a certain beat that I'm just like going. It just depends, but basically it's just a really good thing to just have to me to have. It's just music sometimes and just playing that, and being that you know how to play it, it makes it even better. I wish I could play something. I play the keys a tad bit. I play the drums a
Little,
tad
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
But I just sing other than that. So for you to be able to like, do you read notes too? Like, can you read notes?
yeah,
Read music notes?
I can.
See, that's good. I used to be able to read music notes when I was in chorus back in high school. That was like, oh goodness. That was like 15, 15, 16 years ago when I was reading music notes. That was like ninth and 10th grade, I think. Ninth and 10th grade for me. So yeah, I was like 15 then. Woo. That was a long time ago. Help me, Jesus. But uh basically it's just a really good place to be at, especially if that's what you're looking forward to in school. I mean, I know you said the second semester you said hasn't it just started.
Yeah.
Oh, Aunt Destiny wants to know, can you sing? Like, do you know how to
Uh,
sing? Can you sing?
yeah, a little bit. My voice
Okay, well, you
sometimes.
don't you don't have to do it on the show, but I am gonna want to hear you.
All right. uh,
I am gonna want to hear. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line you. And remember how I used to like direct y'all when y'all were kids? You remember that when
ah,
y'all were kids? I used to be the choir director.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I used to have you, TJ, and Jemiah singing. Remember that?
Yeah, I
It
think
was
so.
some
Yeah,
years ago. Like it was
yeah.
some years ago, and I had y'all singing. You, little Aaron. I had TJ, Maya. I had Heaven. I had like all the kids at one point. I don't know if you
Oh yeah, yeah. I
remember
remember.
that.
I remember. Yeah, I remember.
I had to be working y'all too, boy. Joe did. Let me see. Sister Nakia said, "It's amazing to hear how the youth are handling themselves in school in holiness. My son, only 8, stood up for himself toward the secular music they played in his class. He was really happy to tell me too. That's really good, and that's why I wanted to do this show because a lot of times we don't really get to hear how you are handling situations at school being in holiness. A lot of times the adults get up and testify about how they handle situations at work, but I think it's a really good thing to hear how the younger people are handling things at school, because school is full of a lot of peer pressure. Do you ever feel like that you're in a situation that you just can't get out of, BJ? That you feel like really, really pressured and you feel like there's no way but nothing to do but to give in? Have you ever felt like that at school where you feel like, man, I guess I got to do this because everybody else is doing it? Do you ever feel like that?
Well, can you say the question again?
Do you ever feel like you have to do something because everybody else is doing it?
Mm, no, no. It kind of it depends if it's a good thing or a bad thing. If, if it's like going to the crowd, like a bad crowd or people like that type of stuff. No, not really. I usually just stay to myself and not like go with other people what they do, what they say because I feel like if it's a bad thing, I just keep to myself. Like I don't go with where everybody else goes.
That's
Just
good. You know what that makes you?
hmm?
A leader,
Yeah, yeah,
not a follower. And I think that's a really good thing, to be in holiness and to have the mindset that you don't want to follow the bad behaviors of other students. That's
true.
really important because it's so easy to get caught up in there's a fight going, or there's somebody throwing paper at the back of the teacher head, or there's somebody stealing money from one of the students, being a bully, things like that. It's like you don't want to ever partake in those things. First of all, you know what your mama gonna do when she find out.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna say. I know my sister, so I already know you cutting up, you getting cut out. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Basically,
But it's a good thing that you have that mindset that if it's a good thing, then you're willing to follow that good thing. But
yeah.
if it's a bad thing, you're willing to stay to yourself and not follow and repeat those behaviors of those other students, because it's so easy to get caught up in stuff like that. You have a better mind than I did when I was in. Well, I will admit, whenever there was like fights and stuff like that, I was always trying to get away from that stuff because I ain't want nobody trying to tie me into nothing. And there were times when I would look because I would be shocked at who was fighting, and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, that's my friend," or "Oh my gosh, that's somebody I know," or "Oh my gosh," and things like that. So I probably was, like, let me see what's going on. But there were times when I would be running the opposite direction because I'm like, "Oh no, this don't look good," and I don't want nobody, getting. I don't want to get hurt in the process. So that's a really good thing to have that mindset while you're young, because if you're not influenced by the things that people do now, can you imagine how you're going to be when you're 25, God willing? You ain't going to be moved by nothing. People going to be
Yeah.
like, oh, Brandon, we want you to do something. You, no, thank you, bro. I'm good. And you just going to keep it moving because you're so used to getting yourself in that mindset at a young age now, to the point where when you get older, it won't be nothing for you to turn down those things that are not appealing to you. Those
Right.
things that you know are against God, those things that you know are going to get you in trouble or going to lead to jail or death or things like that. It won't be that hard. Think about all the things that's in school. You got drugs, you got girls, you got all those things in school. You got skipping class, you got skipping school, you got all these things that can pile up, in your mind and in your heart if you're not careful. But for you to have the mindset to want to stay away from those things at this age, that's a really good thing. And it says a lot about what you're being taught at home, and it says a lot about you taking it in and actually applying it. So you should definitely be proud of yourself. You should definitely be proud of yourself for actually standing up and standing out and not being ashamed to do that. And it's just really good to hear about it. So my question to you is, what advice do you have to people, to the children in First Church that may be listening, or to the parents that may be listening that could relay this to their children that are your age in school? What advice do you give to them to be able to stand up for what we believe without worrying about what people have to say? What advice would you give to them?
Just to those people, I say like, don't worry about what other people think about what you're doing, because when you standing up for the right thing, you're in the right place when you stand for the right thing. Because when you stand for the right thing, you're doing it for God, and that's the most important than what other people think, what your teachers think, whoever think that you're doing wrong when you stand up. But when you stand up, you know you're doing it for God. So that's advice.
Perfect. Perfect. Well said. Well said. Oh, Destiny, Aunt Destiny says a concert is due unto me when you come back to Philly College. She want to hear you sing, basically. And
Yeah.
another sister, Sister Shalom, says, yes, this is really encouraging. The peer pressure is real. So, and I Ashley says she loves it. So, yes, that's really truly the best advice, to not be ashamed, to not worry about what people have to say, to not allow the negativity of others to turn away your positivity. I'm the type of person where I do try to be positive all the time. I'm not positive all the time with the things that I go through, but I do try to be positive towards everyone else and what they're going through. And, it's really like a good thing to have that mindset to stay positive when people are trying to make you turn into a negative person about what you're believing and things like that, because it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse as time goes forward. I remember um, there was a time on my job when they tried to tell me that me wearing skirts at the job was a safety hazard.
No.
And this was up in Pennsylvania. I was like, so you mean to tell me wearing this long skirt is a safety hazard? So y'all won't let me go to the back and work clinically because y'all saying it's a safety hazard? And they were like, well, you can trip and fall. I said, let me tell you something. I said, you can trip and fall in a pair of pants just the same way you can trip and fall in a skirt. I said, I've been working in this uniform for the longest. I said, in fact, the facility that I used to work for, they bought me these skirts. And they were like, oh, they did? I'm like, absolutely. They bought these skirts that y'all see me wearing. So why is it a safety hazard? It doesn't even make any sense. It's like, why would you tell me something like that? And it's not even true.
Right.
So I told them, I said, look, I said, I'm gonna tell you right now. I said, these skirts ain't changing. I said, so what y'all want to do? They were like, well, okay. And I told my manager, I said, I really feel discriminated against. And when you mentioned that word discrimination, boy, everybody put the brakes on. Oh, no, it's not like that. Oh, yes, it is. And I'm about to own this facility. Don't play with me. I'm going to sue y'all. And it's going to be called Beverly Harris Urgent Care. Okay, that's what it's going to be called when I'm done with y'all. And I'm going to be owning it. And all y'all in here, y'all fired. But that's how I felt. I was so upset, and I was
Right.
just like, we not doing that. We're not having that. So as adults, we face these things too. But it's good to hear your perspective because you're younger and you're in school, and I think it's just amazing and it's so beautiful. Let me see. Yes, Sister Melissa. She said, what? And Sister Shalom said, what? And Sister Nakia says she wants to ask you, do you think it's hard to talk to parents about issues in school or conflict? And what can parents we're gonna start with this question first. Do you think it's hard to talk to parents about issues in school or conflict? Do you think it's hard to talk to parents
Uh,
about that?
no, if I do have this, I usually talk to my mom, my dad, usually straight away. So I don't think it's an issue.
Right. So you feel like if your parents are open to it, then it makes it easier.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I think that answers the first question, Sister Nakia. Like basically, he's saying he doesn't have any issues, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't because I know his parents. My brother-in-law and sister are just like very open to conversation with him. That's one thing you can tell, and you can see it as well. Um, and she also says, "What can parents do better to make their kids more comfortable to speak to them?" Do you think there's something that parents can do? I know your parents are open, but do you feel like there's something that parents probably could do to make the atmosphere easier for their child or the environment easier for their child to open up?
Uh, I'm not really sure because I think I think and my dad, I think they do a good job because my mom, she talked to me like a few months ago about me opening up to her and you know her doing better with that stuff. So I don't have an issue. I think both my parents are doing a good job opening up to me. One, I asked them about stuff. So
Well, that's good. Listen at that. Go ahead, Wanda. Go ahead, Brandon Senior. Well, we appreciate my sister and my brother-in-law because it's a really good deal. And parents have a really um good opportunity to make the environment safe. I know for me, I think just listening versus trying to automatically solve the issue for the child, I think that's important. Just allowing them to speak on what it is and just allowing them to know you can't tell them you can talk to me about anything. And then as soon as they start opening up, then you're ready to shut everything down or you're ready to like go out to the school and ready to beat somebody up. Even though I do talk that talk, but as a child, just reflecting back, when I was younger, just having the opportunity to be able to speak, you want to make sure that it's just a listening environment until there is time to respond. Because I think a lot of kids that I know, you know, that I've heard of, it's just that safe space only becomes safe whenever they can speak about I mean, the darkest thought, the hardest feeling, like the most um how can the strangest vibe or whatever it is that a child wants to talk about. I feel like if the parent is not open to what they could possibly say, then that keeps that child from coming back. It keeps that child from saying, okay, well, let me talk to my mom about this, or let me talk to my dad about this. I feel like if we can open up to each other as adults, and we can open up to each other as friends, and we can open up to each other as let's say grandmother to granddaughter or whatever, it's only because that person has made you feel comfortable in a way where you don't feel judged, you don't feel shut down, you don't feel unheard, you feel happy about opening up to them. So I feel like if we can do that with our friends, why can't we make that space safe for the child? Because they have feelings, they have things they go through, they have things that hurt them, they have things that discourage them. Why can't we make that space safe as their little kids? That way, when they actually speak about things, we can be like, you know what? We got a valid. What you laughing at, BJ?
no,
You
no,
laughing at me?
no.
Oh,
Uh,
and I'm just like, I
I'm
feel
fucking
like
with you.
it's really important to be able to do that because it's it allows them to communicate better as adults, and it allows them to express their feelings. It allows them to open up their emotions. If they want to cry about something, they want to be angry about. We even have to explore the anger of that child. Why are you angry? What's going on? Talk to me. Well, I'm angry about this. I'm angry about that. Okay, let it out. Let it out. Let it out. Be angry. Be mad. But after you're done, we're going to talk about what made you angry. We're going to talk about how we can change that. So I think it's just creating a space that allows them to express whatever emotion, whatever feeling, whatever thought, whatever dark
Hmm.
dream, whatever it is. But I feel like in order for that to happen, the parents have to be healthy mentally and
Right.
emotionally. If you aren't healthy mentally and emotionally as a parent, as an individual, I'm not going to speak from a parent perspective because I'm not a parent, but as a person, if you're not healthy mentally and emotionally and spiritually as a person, then how can you allow the emotions and the feelings and the thoughts of another person to come into your heart and your mind to help them through theirs if you can't even handle your own?
Right.
So I think it really does start with the individual, that they have to be in a certain headspace and they have to be prepared and strong enough to handle whatever it is that child is going to say without judgment, without feeling no type of way. Because if you can do that for your friends, why you can't do that for your child? If you can do that for your spouse, why you can't do that for your child? So that's my take on it. But I don't have any kids, so I can't speak parent to child, but I can speak child to parent because I'm a child. So I feel like if your parent is in a certain place where they can receive what you say, then you should be able to open up and say what needs to be said. But you have to trust that. Let me see. Sister Melissa said that is discrimination. Yes, it was discrimination. And I almost sued they behinds when I started talking suing or discrimination, and that's when everybody want to act right. They better not play with me. My sister tell me something. You always threatening to sue somebody. Always. That's the first thing. Destiny is laughing about something I don't remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure at the moment. But yes, your advice was really, really good. Let me see. Do you all have any questions for my nephew? I know that time is slowly getting away from us. Um, so any questions, anybody? Ashley says, you will hear from my lawyer. I know where that came from. That's lean on me right there, girl. Okay, Sister Nakia says, great points. With my daughter, I often share with her stories and struggles that I've had in school myself and at her age. She loves those convos, and I knows I'm not perfect. That's great. That's a safe space because she knows, okay, I don't have to get everything right for me to be accepted by my parent, or I don't have to get everything right, and I can share these things because my mom told me she didn't get everything right. And I think you creating that atmosphere is really good because honestly, a lot of this stuff is taboo, especially in the world of that we live in, especially in religion. Like being religious, like it's really hard sometimes because of the way that sometimes you're talk to, it's like, you shouldn't have these issues. And if you do, you need to fix it because you're imperfect and that's not of God. And we know
Right.
it's not of God. But at the same time, we need help on how to um, do these things, on how to get through these things without feeling like we're a failure. Because if we don't get that when we're young, when we get older and we fail, oh man, it's going to take a toll on us as adults. We're going to feel like crap. We're going to feel, like we're not good enough. We're going to fail hard. We're going to fall hard and we're not going to know how to get back up because no one ever told us that failing was a part of life. No one ever told us that failing was a part of success. No one ever told us that we got to thank God for the failures because it leads us to success. And when we get to success, it actually allows us to celebrate that success. Success, I mean. Sister Shalom says, how do you deal with nosy school friends? Do you have any friends that you feel like it's just nosy, BJ? Like they want to know all your business. Like, how do you handle that?
I really don't have those type of people. But if I did have nosy friends, I usually just let them. I just shy them away, just shoo them away, and
How do you shoo them away?
Well, I mean, I just tell them straight up, why this thing is so important to you? Like, why this topic is so important to you? I know we're friends and all that stuff. We cool, but I usually just have like some response, and they usually I can't really explain it, kind of, but
It's
I
all right.
mean
Take your time. We got some time.
I
Go
mean
ahead.
because I don't really have nosy friends like that though. Like,
But
I
if
really
you
don't.
if you were, what this is what you would do, right?
Yeah, I was just trying to have a simple response and keep it like that, not trying to have it like over the top where it could create go to somewhere. So I just try to keep a simple response, uh, let that stuff die down. Just, I ain't trying to give him too much leverage.
That's
We want
good.
some.
That's good because people will try to pry information out of you
Right.
or try to get information. And so, yeah, you got to learn how to keep it short and sweet, basically. Like if they're
Mm-hmm.
asking, like, oh, okay, well, Ryan says, hi. He says, Auntie, hey, nephew. I'm talking to your cousin. And he says, go ahead. Thank God for no nosy friends. Yeah, that is a good thing not to have nosy friends. Well, technically, are they really your friends if they really nosy? Are they really
Exactly.
your
Yeah.
friends? Like, no, you just want to get all up in the business. What did Ron say? Come on and give him a hand clap of praise today, Saints. I can't. I can't. And Ryan says, hey, BJ.
Hey Ryan. Hello.
Destiny says she's typing a question. Give her a second. Okay. But yes, it's basically Sister Shalom. I would think as to add on what BJ said, it's like you keep it short and sweet. You know, if you find that they are really trying to pry and get information, you got to be head on with them. Don't be shady. Don't be indirect. But like, hey, why do you want to know this? Why is this so important to you? You know, is there a reason why you want to know this information? And then you can kind of tell what type of person they are based off of what they talk about, based off what their everyday conversation is. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
notice, they're always bringing you what somebody else is going, it's somebody else's business. I mean, all the time. I'm not talking about, just saying, hey, I saw that person broke their foot. Okay, they on crutches. Okay, that's one thing. But if this person is every time you turn around, this is going on, that's going on. I heard about this, I heard about that, and then they want to ask you all these questions. That ain't the person you want to be around, first of all, because that ain't nothing but a person that's full of trash, and they want to put it all on you. You don't want to associate yourself with people that's always constantly being nosy, always constantly going for the information, always constantly updating you on everybody's information. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be around people that's connected to people like that
Right.
because if they're connected to somebody that's nosy, and they'll start being nosy, and they'll start telling me all the business. I have to tell them, I don't want to hear nothing else. I don't want to hear nothing else. Don't bring me nothing else. Okay. And that's just how you got to be. You got to really keep that clear lane. Like you want to hang around people that build things. And then what I mean by build things, building their mind, building their heart, building their soul, their spirit, investing in positive energy, investing in those things that are really good for us. That's the type of people you want to be around, that you can have deep conversations with when it's necessary, or you can talk about the the lightweight things when it's necessary. Sister Shalom says nosy friends are definitely a no,
Yeah.
right? And Ryan says, no, ma'am, they just some nosy people, and we really have to steer clear of them because we never know their intention. Observation is key. Absolutely. And you can observe people without being creepily observing. You can
Yeah.
have a conversation with them and and notice how they are, and that keeps you away from them as well. So Shalom says, I think the hard part is not being shady. LOL. I get the whole business info. I didn't ask. I get the whole business info. I didn't ask. I understand. Let me see. Have you been able to fast while at school? Destiny wants to know. Have you been able to fast while at school?
Yeah. Well, sometimes don't eat. Sometimes, but I mean,
Like literally like fasting, anointing your head and washing your face. Have you been able to do that type of fasting?
nah.
Not just missing a meal, but like fasting, like you're praying and you're prayerful minded. Have you
No,
been able to
ma'am.
do that while at school?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And she said, if so, how are you navigating staying spiritual minded in an environment that's extremely distracting? Do you pray while you're at school?
Oh yes, in my mind, I do pray though. Just just pray mostly every morning. In my mind, just to make sure everything's clear between me and my classmates, and then no drama comes around me, or no negativity comes around me. You just pray most every morning. It's, are you frozen? Frozen?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Perfect. I had to switch phones because I already know this
computer starts acting stupid. Um, okay, so you pray at school. Are there certain Yeah, I froze, Ashley. Okay, hold on, wait. The observation is when they don't know they are being watched. That is a very hard thing to do at school, but it's doable, is what Ryan said. You must stay prayerful throughout the day. Let's see. Okay, no worries. I imagine that to be difficult. Did she freeze? Talk to us, be there while she's gone. Okay. Can you can hear me still?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. I'm just Brother Trenton says, you know that when a man is following God, he tends to attract women because they are drawn to his character and how he conduct himself as a young man. They notice that there is something different about you that they don't see in other guys. Other guys are disrespectful and don't know how to carry themselves. They don't know how to have a conversation without conning intentions. So my question to you, brother BJ, is how have you been able to keep a stable mindset around young ladies at school? I think that's what it says. I can't see all of it. It's kind of weird.
Well,
Oh, he
I
must have
mean,
wrote a lot.
I mean, I usually, I usually try to like, deflect off of them. If they, try for me anything like that. So I usually just try to have a simple conversation. You know, I mean, I don't really talk to girls like that, so I usually just keep to myself around that stuff.
Okay, say that again.
Um, can you hear me though? Like, am I
I
lagging?
can hear you now. I had to put my headphone in.
Okay, I usually try to handle that situation around girls. I usually try to deflect, kinda. If they try to be interested in me or try to flirt with me, I try to shy away from that stuff and try to focus more on school.
Hmm.
I try to stay cool and have simple conversation and that type of stuff.
Do you find it hard at times to do that? Because women, girls can be pretty now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
We ain't talking about the girls that you don't think are that pretty. We talk about the girls that you like, man, she's beautiful. Do you
Uh
find it hard sometimes to like deflect? Sorry, Wanda, if you watching this. Yeah, we asking. Joshua. Oh, hi, Josh. Okay, I'm sorry. That's my little brother, you guys.
um. Uh. I say. I say like. I think it's hard a little bit, but not really. Like I know my mindset is pretty strong with that stuff, so I guess it just depends. It's in the middle, kind of.
Okay, hold on. I think I'm about to enter back in.
You right? Yeah.
You see me on there twice?
Um.
Hold on.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, can you see me now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
You want to answer the question again, or you know?
Let me see. Let me see if I can go back to his comment. No, I heard you the first
Okay.
time. You said that you try to deflect it, and what did you say recently when you said it's kind of hard sometimes? You said you feel like it's hard, but you feel like you do a good job at it still.
Yeah.
So
I usually.
how exactly? Let me see. Hold on, wait. I actually said you be cheesing. You be cheesing when them girls talking to you.
uh, yeah, a little bit.
Listen, you can't be cheesing too hard because some girls will see that as a weakness and they'll be like, I know I can get BJ. Let me come back. So they can be a little wicked, but
Mhm.
they can be a little cunning and be like, oh, he's smiling. Okay, so he do kind of like me. Let me see. And Joshua said, facts, BJ. Oh, Destiny said, we heard you, BJ. She didn't. Hush, Destiny. Hush, Jaquita. And Trent says, come on, brother BJ, tell me how you turn them down. So how do you turn them down?
Well, I mean, if it's like a direct just response or usually like if they try to flirt with me and like that, I usually just point to something else or try to point to something. I mean, I don't know how directly I do it, but I usually try to go off topic to something else, like
So
something else.
you change the subject. So
Yeah,
tell me,
basically.
how do they approach you though? How do they approach you? How do they like how do you know when a girl is flirting with you? That's the
Oh,
question.
I definitely can feel that.
Look, your eyes got big. Oh, you can tell, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so how do you know? Enlighten us.
Well, because it feels a little weird. I can say that for sure. Um,
It feels weird. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it does.
Okay, so I
Cause
take it you're shy. Go ahead.
yeah, cause well, I usually know when they like me is because I can tell like a stare. I'm not sure if it's like did they like me or not. It's some type of stare. Sometimes I'm not sure. Eye
Uh-huh.
contact kind of. So I'm not sure.
All right, I'm taking names on this too because I'm going to leave my nephew alone. You being fast. Sit down. I'm just kidding. Okay, so I think you heard that, Brother Trenton. He said, but you have discipline. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have. I'm sorry, I was reading this sister comment. She said, "Little wicked." You mean extremely wicked? You right about that, sis. Um, they be using us for attention. BJ, stop it, Joshua. Don't start that toxic mess. No, I'm just kidding. Sometimes they do. Ashley says it's all about mindset, and self control. So it sounds like you've been taught to have self control and you have a good mindset, which is really,
Mhm.
really good at your age because a lot of guys your age would give in to it. And before you know it, they doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
Right.
Ryan says, BJ, question for you. Have you ever been pressured into doing something in school or out that caused you to pray to God for help in that moment and to prevent it from happening in the future? Because it's hard to navigate certain in the moment situations if you aren't necessarily prepared or able to withstand. So have you ever been pressured into doing something in school or out of school?
Uh, I don't think I have experienced that yet. I'm not
Hmm.
sure. So no, I don't think I've been pressured yet. Like
All
pure
right, well,
pressure.
we pray. We're gonna be praying for
Yeah.
you.
I
Sorry,
do
y'all, I'm
pray
eating
though.
because I wanted some chocolate. Anyway, mind y'all business. But you say you do pray.
Yeah, I do pray that that stuff won't happen. Like those situations won't happen while I'm in high school. But I haven't like really like faced that yet. So those
Maybe the
challenges.
pandemic has slowed people down a little bit. Let me see. Desmond says, "Come on." Desmond says, "Come on here, discipline." And that's when Sister Shalom said, "Little wicked." You mean extremely wicked? You're right about that, sis. We can be extremely wicked. And Joshua said they be using us for attention. Women be using y'all for attention. Look, I got stuff all over my face. Look at that. That's so terrible. Sorry, y'all. That's what happens when you're eating something you shouldn't be eating. All right. Ryan says because when we have a drive and we are willing to serve the Lord, a lot of girls come into our life when we least expect it at that moment. Hey, BJ, don't worry. I get shy too. I don't believe that, but okay, Ryan. I don't believe it, but okay. No, I'm just kidding. I think around somebody that you actually, I love that he says yet and how he just says no. That's so nice, BJ. Destiny said, I love that he says yet and how he just says no. That's so nice, BJ. So Destiny, she's just we love you, so we're
Yeah.
always like, oh, we love you, BJ. But I think it's a really good thing because at your age, that's the main time when your mindset is so full of curiosities and so many
Right.
things that you are tempted in and so many things that are at your fingertips and so many things you can easily get caught up in. And for you to have this discipline right now, it says a lot. And you should definitely make sure that you keep and hold on to that because as you get older, you're going to have older women coming at you. That's just normal. So when you get older, you're going to have women coming at you. Right now, you have girls, but the pandemic might be slowing some people down because they don't want to get COVID.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so they may say to themselves a little bit right now. I was trying to see if Trent was going to put in here the rest of what he was trying to say. because I couldn't see all of it. I guess Facebook allows you to say a whole lot, but evidently this doesn't allow me to see everything. But um, so you basically change the topic of conversation.
Yeah,
You basically try to, not basically you try not to entertain what it is they're saying.
yeah. Basically, uh, I'm just trying to
Change the
get out.
subject real quick. So, okay, so back to that. What are some things that they do that you said they stare, but you're trying to figure it out? What are some other things that you think that they do that lets you know that they actually like you, or they think that you're cute, or they think that you're, a really nice guy? What do you think that some things that they do? Because you said you can tell your eyes got really big.
Well, well, one thing is that they usually talk to me kind of frequently in my class, kind of. I think that's kind of like in the type of way where like in my band class, one of these girls like try to sit beside me and have like a conversation with me, and then trying to have a conversation with me. I guess that's like kind of normal, but in some type of way like that, like they just try
Basically,
to
try
have.
to get in. Basically, it's them being curious about you, so they
Yeah,
come over to start a conversation because they already can tell you ain't gonna come talk to them
right,
because you just gonna be minding your business. So, in
true.
order for them to be able to know what type of guy you are, because they in their minds they're probably like, he's quiet. I wonder what he's about, or he's cute. I wonder what he's about. He don't talk to nobody. So they come over and be like, so Brandon, blah blah
Yeah,
blah, and then you're like, yeah, I can only imagine how they feel. They in there trying to like, so Brandon, blah blah. So you play the trombone? Okay, can you help me? After, oh, well,
yeah,
they, them poor girls be like, man, this dude just won't break. But that's good. That's good. That's really good. In fact, that actually makes you more desirable because they can't break you. But at the same time, it really makes them like, oh man, because you're so different, it makes you stand out amongst all the other guys that could probably, as soon as that girl start, they see that girl, they like, ooh, what's her name? They run over to her. Whereas you probably you can acknowledge a girl's beauty and not run over there to indulge in conversation. You can
right.
just look at her and be like, "Oh man, she's pretty," and just keep going. Whereas she may see that and be like, "I think he thinks I'm pretty. Let me go sit down and talk to him." So it's really good to hear someone 15 years old. You're a sophomore, right?
Freshman.
You're a freshman. Oh my gosh, a freshman. I'm putting you ahead. Oh, that's Jemiah. Jemiah's the sophomore, and
Hmm.
Tashawn is the junior. Okay, I got to get everybody straight. Now I got y'all straight. Okay, because you're born in December. That's right. Okay, so that's a really good mindset to have. Let me see. Ryan says, just real quick, I love today's TED talk with Bev and BJ. I usually haven't been able to tune in because I'm usually at work, but I'm glad I'm tuning in. Oh, thank you so much, Ryan. We
Thank
appreciate it.
you. Yeah.
Brother Trenton says, BJ, how have you been able to keep a stable mindset around young ladies at school? So come on, brother. Tell me how you turned them down. He just did. He said he turned them down by. So has any girl ever been so straight up with you to the point where she says, "Hi, can I have your number?" Has anybody ever
No,
asked you
no,
your
no,
number?
no,
And
no.
what would you do if a girl asked you for your phone number? What would you say to her?
I try to be polite rejection. Basically, I wouldn't try to be harsh or anything. I would just say that I can't let you have my phone number because I'll get in trouble for that. So that's how I my phone number.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Trent. I see it, Ashley. I think that was the end of his question that you can't see. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry. I got it. I got it. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So basically you would just let her know like I'm not able to give you my phone number because I'm gonna be honest. When I was in school, your age, I honestly did the same thing. I would pull my dad like a doggone shotgun. I'd be like, yeah, I'd be like, they'd be like, can I get your number? I'm like, my dad ain't gonna like that. I can't give you my phone number because I was just like, leave me alone, Trent. I would be like, he said, help a Lord. Oh my gosh. Yes, please pray for me. I'm a little strange. But I would be like, yeah, my dad wouldn't like that, so I can't give you my phone number. And guys will be like, like, why this girl won't give me her phone number? I'm just like, because my dad is going to kill me if he find out I'm on the phone with you.
Yeah.
Like that's how I felt. So I can definitely understand that. But that says a lot about the respect you have for your parents because you understand that shut up, Ishmael. That says a lot about the respect you have for your parents and the respect you have for yourself because you definitely don't want to put yourself out there in a way that could definitely get you in trouble. And it evidently it shows that you have discipline. Ishmael says, "Shoot, not me. Please call me." That is so terrible. It's understandable though for some people. That's just how it is. It's just like that. Ishmael crazy. And thanks for joining us, Ish, even if it's for a second. Um, but that's a good thing for you to have that discipline because I think a lot of people your age, a lot of kids your age don't realize that you can have discipline and it's okay to have discipline and it's okay to say no to things that normally your age group would say yes to. It's okay to say no to a girl. That doesn't mean you're less of a man or
Right.
less of a young man or
Hmm.
less of a male or whatever they want to say to that. It actually shows strength. Hey y'all, love you too. Ishmael, he's on. Hey y'all, love y'all. Miss you too, man. um, and Ryan said, discipline is of a necessity in the minds of us young folks. Absolutely. Even in, those of us that are still young and in our 30s it's still important that we have discipline, no matter how old you are or young you are. Exactly, Destiny. She is crazy. Discipline is a necessity. Even if you're 55, it's still a necessity because as an adult, you're still going to have other adults trying you. So you still got to make sure that you have that discipline as well. And I think you having it at a young age is really admirable. And you should definitely be proud of that. And you should never let anyone make you feel bad for having discipline and for having the right mindset to do the things that are right, to say no. It's really, really, really good because you could easily give in to anything it's so easy to say yes, but it takes strength to say no.
Hmm.
And so you have to judge yourself by your decisions. Your decisions make it healthy or unhealthy.
Right.
So if you say yes, then that's a healthy decision depending upon what it is. If you're
Right.
saying yes to what's good, then that's a healthy decision. If you're saying no to what's bad, that's a healthy decision. If you're saying no to what's good, that's an unhealthy decision.
Right.
So Ryan says this is so informative. Y'all keep the convo going. Very healthy and successful conversation. He said it's needed. Um, Good morning. How are you? Mama Carmen. um, so basically, for those that are just tuning in, I'm speaking with my nephew about holiness in high school and how it is to stand out and to be different, and how it takes gusto. I love that word, gusto or guts, to basically say no to a society that is typically telling you you should only say yes to those things. And I think it's very admirable that my nephew has the mindset that he has, and I'm very appreciative of my brother-in-law and my sister for doing a wonderful job thus far, and I know that they will continue to do so with my nephew because I mean this is the mind of a 15-year-old. A 15-year-old in this type of society is very rare to hear the discipline and the solid mentality that he has at this young age because it's so easy to get caught up in those things that are just not healthy. It's so easy to get caught up in the rigmarole of everyday teenage life. Mariah says hi. Hi, says Mariah. Um, I'm glad you're good, Mrs. Carmen. And um, it's just really good to just hear and refreshing. I definitely want to bring my nephew Tyshawn on too because he has his own story as well. And it's just really good. Do you notice any other issues in school, for yourself and your age? And I'm getting ready to wrap it up in a few, but
Hmm.
do you notice any other issues for yourself? Anything that you feel like sticks out to you that makes you a target in school?
Nothing. Nothing really. No. Nothing really right now. No. Feels pretty comfortable. Just feel like band stuff, but that's probably it.
That's good. That's good because not everyone can literally be different. And I mean, and I know you're a guy, so you don't have to go through the head covering and the skirts
Yeah.
conversation, which is why I wanted my niece Jemiah on here, because I wanted her to speak on that aspect. But maybe one day, because she's a little shy, so maybe one day we'll get her on here too. But just your mindset, you should definitely be very proud of where you are as a young man. To be able to think the way that you think. It's no one but God giving you the tools and the necessary understanding, and giving you the ability to apply everything you're learning, because it's not easy to turn down those things that we really want to do. And
Right.
just to hear you speak this way, I'm very happy to know that you can go to school every day and actually have discipline about yourself, and to know that you don't have to indulge in those things, and to know that you're actually like curving, so to speak. Isn't it the words of the day? You curving
Yeah.
them girls that come in to talk to you, and
Yeah.
you're proud of that, and you should be proud of that, because a lot of guys can't do that. A lot of girls can't do that. They can't say no to the person that's coming to talk to them. They gonna give in. And it's good to hear your take on things, honestly. And I'm very glad that you did this show with me. I hope that you enjoyed yourself. I really enjoyed myself. And
Mhm.
I'm very proud to say that, Brandon, you're my nephew. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And I appreciate you for
Yes, ma'am.
taking the time out to come on. I know it was a little struggle this morning, but I'm glad to know that you were able to join in with me and join in with my viewers. And God willing, I look forward to, bringing on, Tashawn later.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see. I think Ryan is saying something to Mariah. Well, glory, Mariah. We thank God you're still on this side of the. I cannot with y'all. And I don't wait. And Brother Trenton says curving. Yes, sir. BJ the Curve King. Okay, that's a nickname for you, the Curve King. That's so good. Ryan wants to know if you have any type of advice or encouragement for them. I know we did that earlier, but what do you have to say again for those that weren't here? Maybe you can add on to it. Just advice or encouragement, as far as those in your age group or a little bit older, or any of us, because we can all use any type of encouragement. So what encouragement do you have for anyone in today
um,
society?
my encouragement is just stay on the target. Whatever you're going through, whatever challenges you're going through, just believe that God can get you out of it, and make sure that you block out whatever all the noise out, what everybody else say, block that stuff out. That stuff don't really matter. The negativity outside in the world. Just focus on the main goal. Focus on God, basically. That's all I can.
There you have it, folks. My nephew, I'm about to cry because he's an amazing person. He's an amazing human. And I'm just so grateful just to hear him be able to speak this way. As a aunt, you look forward to having kids maybe, but I feel like I already have them, and I feel like I'm already a part of motherhood because of my nieces and nephews. And I have altogether we have 11. So if I don't ever become a mom, I can truly say that I share the proudness of my siblings for raising their children, and for hearing them speak so well, that even if I never have my own, I can truly say that these babies have turned into good young people, and that I look forward to them being even better adults because of where they are now. Sorry, y'all, that's my alarm. And so, so I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be able to interview my nephew. Let me see. And Destiny says, such a beautiful perspective, BJ. I enjoyed hearing you speak. And it's okay, Ryan. It's all right. I think he didn't mind sharing it again. And Sister Shalom says, wonderful conversation. Sister Mariah says, you better speak. And Mama Carmen says, amen. And Destiny says, shut up, Trent. I got to make that his contact name in my phone, BJ the Curve King. Mama Carmen says you will have children. Well, if it be the Lord's will, we'll see what happens in the future. Um, but I do appreciate that encouragement. So, to everyone, I love you all. Thank you all for joining me. Let me see what else. Glory to God, BJ. I'm so churchy, it don't make no sense. But this was beautiful, BJ. You laid a lot of helpful words. Mariah
Thank
said she cut some steps, and Ryan says that's hilarious. So he's probably laughing at Destiny. Okay, so I'm getting ready to end my show right now, you guys. I love you all. I'm going to end with my song, of course. So just stick around for a few seconds. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you till we meet again. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you till we meet again. Thank you guys for coming out. Love y'all so much. Keep me in prayer. Keep BJ in prayer that we continue to do this thing and keep God first in everything that we do. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all all. Mariah and Ryan, get off of my page, y'all. It's too much. Bye, y'all. Love you, Mama Carmen. Bye.